If you're a leader who is confused because you are a good leader and yet it is not working, then this video is for you. Being a good leader is not enough because being a good leader does not translate to be an effective one. And a lot of people think that because they're a good leader, they show up for their team, they support their team across the board, they create a vision board, they create a New Year resolution, and they have pizza parties and the dunking celebration sometimes to reward the team. You think that that is enough. But the reality is that just because you are doing your best and being a good leader does not mean that that translates to your team. It doesn't mean it translates to your family. It doesn't mean that it translates to your church. It does not mean that it translates to your company. So in this video, we're going to talk about 3 reasons why being a good leader is not enough and what you can do about it. And reason number 1 of why your leadership is not, or you being a good leader is not enough, because you're inconsistent. One moment you want your team to have autonomy and be able to make decisions without you. The next moment you want to be involved in every single decision process. One moment you want to have a culture where people push each other and maximize their potential. The other moment you punish someone because they are either going above and beyond and maybe in a way that doesn't make too much sense to you. One moment you want your team to be able to support each other. The next moment you are involved with every single decision process and you are not allowing your team to collaborate, to work with each other and come up with solutions and be able to come up with and be able to address problems head on. One moment you are a leader who is okay with your team coming in and speaking up. The next moment you are punishing them for being vocal even when they're respectful about it. You cannot have both. You have to decide, are you a leader who is going to be consistent in terms of your messaging? Are you going to be consistent in terms of how you show up? Or are you going to be wishy-washy? You cannot be an effective leader and still be someone who is wishy-washy and who is inconsistent. This includes even if you have a vision. You can say that this year I want us to hit X. This year I want us to grow. This year I want us to be able to have new projects. This year I want us to be innovative. And yet you will not even allow your team to tap in their creativity. It cannot be both. You have to be able to decide exactly which direction you want to go. And a lot of the time, the reason why some leaders may be inconsistent is because they don't know how to trust themselves. They don't know how to just make a clear decision and trust that decision. And because of that reason, you second guess yourself. You go back and forth in decisions. You go back and forth in one moment you say something, next moment your team think to themselves, I thought he or she just said this, so how come we're doing Z? So a reason why you're being a good leader may not be effective, even though you care about your team, is because you are inconsistent. And if self-trust is something that you struggle with, in the description of this video, I'm going to include my free self-trust self-trust reset guide that can help you to rebuild that self-trust with yourself. Because at the end of the day, if you do not have that time, if you do not make the time to really build your self-trust, other people are going to really struggle to be able to trust you and be able to see you as a consistent leader. And that brings us to the second point, which is the reason why being a good leader is not good enough is because you do not trust yourself. You do not trust yourself and you want people to trust you. How does that make sense? If you're to drive someone somewhere and you are clear that you do not trust your ability to drive, people are usually going to get out of the car. I hope they will get out of the car. If you hire people in your company and you do not trust your own vision, people are going to feel shaky about the direction that you are leading them. When people get on board with you, whether because you are the CEO of a company, whether it's because you are a father, a mother, an older sibling, when people are following you, they want to know that they can trust you. They want to know that they do not have to worry about the path along the way. They need to know that even when things are going to be tough, that you can be someone who trusts the decisions that you make, that you make decisions from a place of wholeness, that you make decisions from a place of groundedness. People cannot trust you if you are not grounded. They cannot trust you if you do not trust yourself. So the second reason why you being a good leader may not be effective or may not be working for you is because you do not trust yourself. And because you don't trust yourself, it is pretty apparent to the people you're leading. And as a result, they do not trust you. So for you to be able to improve your leadership, you have to learn how to trust yourself. The next reason is that you have unaddressed patterns and you make decisions from a place of patterns you haven't addressed. What I mean by this is that you are someone who perhaps you are egotistical I think that's the word. You're someone who make decisions because of your ego. You make decisions because you want to show that you are high up there and people are down here from you. You are someone who make decisions from pressure. You make decisions from fear. And at the end of the day, those underlying patterns, they come from somewhere. They might come from your childhood. They might come from a place where maybe you were in another company and your boss talked to you a certain way. You may be on this path of trying to prove yourself so much, and that catches onto your team. And you may be trying so hard to prove yourself because maybe someone undermined you. And that's part of why, with healed leadership conversations in this community, we talk about the internal patterns that people don't see. A lot of the time, leadership programs and coaching are focused on making sure you're having a vision, making sure you're having the skills and having that skill. By the end of the day, if what you have inside of you, if the patterns that you have in you are patterns that are not healed, that are not addressed, you are going to make decisions from a place of fragile confidence, from a place of fragile self-esteem. And as a result, that is going to play a role in the way that you show up. So if you're someone who, one, you are inconsistent, two, you don't trust yourself, and three, you have unaddressed patterns, what can you do about it? Well, the first thing is that you can learn to build that self-trust with yourself. You can learn to build that relationship with yourself. Because at the end of the day, any relationship takes time to develop. Any trust in relationships, whether that is with your teammates, with your partner, with your friends, it takes time to build that trust. So what that means too is that for you to be able to learn how to trust yourself, it is going to take time. And if you do not learn how to trust yourself and trust your values and know what your values are, you are going to make decisions that are inconsistent. You are going to not trust yourself. You are going to have unaddressed patterns that influence your decisions. So the first thing you can do is to learn how to trust yourself. And I created a free guide for this reason, to help you to trust yourself better and rebuild that self-trust. And that guide you can find in the description. It's called the Self-Trust Reset Guide. And it really walks you through perhaps identifying where the issues with learning how to not trust yourself come from. Most importantly, how to build that self-trust with yourself. Because at the end of the day, if you do not trust yourself, you are going to struggle in a lot of the ways that you lead. You're going to struggle with how you lead yourself and how you lead others, because self-trust is your greatest asset that you will ever have.